There comes a time and a place where you have to decide, this is worth fighting for. This is where I stand. This is who I am. This is the life I have chosen. I believe Shema got to that place. So the question becomes, what's worth fighting for in your life? What passions do you have where you're going to take ground and you're just going to dig your feet in and say, I'm fighting for this? Is it your marriage? Your kids? Is it the church? What is it? And you have to really think deep about this. Because the things that you dig your heels in, the place that you stand and fight has got to be something worth fighting for. Amen? You have to find out what that is and take a stand. Church 242, we have been around coming up in October 19th. We will be around for 5 years. And in that 5 years, we have been creating, basically gathering people, creating a foundation of people. A foundation of people that say yes and amen to the call that God has put on this church, to the passion that this church has, to the values that this church has. We've just been creating this network of people, and I want to use the big word, community of people. That's what we've been doing. But are you ready for this? We can't just keep gathering. We can't just sit there and keep gathering. There has to be a point in time to where we go. We don't just sit here anymore. We don't just gather anymore. We don't just build a church. We start spreading a church. And we have all these visions. We have these ideas. And for the last year, the board and I, we've been talking back and forth. And we're like, man, we just feel like we've been at a stalemate. And God was like, yeah, because I told you to go and you didn't go. And I was like, go where? And he shared with me the vision and the passion. And it reminded me, he gave me this story. And I want to give it to you guys. This is 2 Kings. It's a short story, but I want to give it to you. I want to set the background up for you, though, real quick. Israel is in a famine. Like, people are literally starving to death. So nobody has food. You'll have these 3 lepers that are outside. Lepers are diseased men and women that literally, leprosy, your extremities start falling off, like ears fall off, noses fall off, lips, all that kind of stuff. And you are literally outcasted outside the city. You're not allowed to come into the city. And at the same time this famine is happening, there's also a war with Syria, the Syrian army that's taking place. And so not only is there a famine going on, but you have this army that's right outside your city waiting to come in. Everybody with me on this one? And this is where we pick up the story. It says this. Now there were 4 men who were lepers at the entrance to the gate. And they said to one another, why are we sitting here until we die? If we say, let's enter the city, the famine in the city, and there's famine in the city, and we will surely die there. And if we sit here, we will die also. So now come. Let us go over to the camp of the Syrians. If they spare our lives, we shall live. If they kill us, we shall but die. So they arose at twilight to go to the camp of the Syrians. But when they came to the edge of the camp of the Syrians, behold, there was no one there. For the Lord had made the army of the Syrians hear the sound of chariots and of horses, the sound of a great army, so that they said to one another, behold, the king of Israel has hired against us the king of the Hittites and the king of Egypt to come against us. So they fled away in the twilight and abandoned their tents, their horses, and their donkeys, leaving the camp as it was, and fled for their lives. And when these lepers came to the edge of the camp, they went into a tent, and they ate and drank. And they carried off silver and gold and clothing, and went and hid them. Then they came back and entered another tent and carried off the things from it, and went and hid them. They went from dying to dining in a palace. Why? Because there was no other option. They couldn't go back. They couldn't go to Israel because they were diseased. And let's just be real, if you're diseased, you don't have a job. If you don't have a job, you don't have money. If you don't have money, you can't get food. But there's a famine going on, and some people do have money, and they still can't get food. So guess what you're not getting? We're going to die. If we go to the city, we die. We stay here, we die. The only thing we can do is go. And if they kill us, yeah, it's the same old, same old. We die. But when they showed up, God had already moved. Now you got to hear that. They didn't show up and then God moved. God already moved. So when they got there, the tables were set. They were ready to dine. Now there's more to that story, but the reason why I share it with you is because we feel like as Church 242, we've been in that spot. We feel like we can't go back and we can't stay here. The only place that we can go is what? Forward. Why? The place that we have to go forward to is our city. We have to do what God has called us to do. And what has God called us to do? Be where the people are. He's put a vision on our heart. And if you haven't heard the vision of this church, I'm encouraging you, go to our YouTube and check out the vision. There's like that stuff, like the first 2 videos, you can see it. It even says vision on it. You can read it, you can watch it. They're not very long. I think they're 15 minutes. But I'm telling you, the vision. And the vision has to come to pass. Why? Why do we have to move forward? Because I don't know about you, but I am tired of the world taking ground in our area. I am tired of the world entering our field of lentils. I am tired, and I don't want to retreat. I want to step up. I want to be like Shema. I want to be like a mighty man. But you can't do it alone. You got to stand together. And I want to stand there and say, how do we fight? How do we go after this? Well, we just need to start moving. So here's what we decided to do. We're going to let you in on the secret. This is the hope and desire and the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not asking you for money, okay? But here's what I'm going to do. I want to share the vision with you, and then I'm going to ask you to do something if you would partner with us. And remember, it has nothing to do with money. Here's the dream. Be where people are. Take a stand in Rancho Cucamonga. Take a stand in our field, and let's see what God would do.